I'm going to get right into it. I hope you have your pen and pad because if you watch my videos, you know every video I do is a note-taking opportunity for you to take things that you can immediately apply from watching this right now, immediately apply to your life and make it instantly better, okay? I work with high school athletes. That's the strength and conditioning side of things that I do, but we go beyond just nutrition and weight training. Those are key areas, but we go beyond that. I want to empower you in all walks of life, and I want to show you how being a complete end-to-end individual, that will make you the most optimal athlete of whatever you're capable of being, okay? So here's the harsh truth of life. Results are the only thing that matters. In life, in sports, and in all walks of life, results are the only thing that matters. No one will remember why you were overweight. They'll remember that you were overweight. No one will remember why you were weak, like physically weak and puny. They'll remember that you were physically weak and puny. No one will remember why you didn't make good grades. They'll remember that you didn't make good grades. No one will remember why insert whatever accomplishment you're looking to achieve in life. No one will remember why you did or did not achieve it. They'll remember that you did or did not achieve it. They'll remember that you were overweight. They'll remember that you were weak. They'll remember that you came up short and never lived up to your potential as an athlete. No one will remember the why. No one remembers your excuse and no one cares. They only care about results. That's the only thing that matters in life. But if you can adopt that mindset now and just come to peace with that as a truth, you will forever be not only ahead of all your competition, you will be ahead of any obstacle or adversity that could come at you because you're in control now. See, if you want to know who controls your life, look at who you blame. Whoever you blame, that is who has control over your life. So if you can adopt this mindset, you get to be the one that's in control. Adversity is inevitable for all of us. It's inevitable in sports. It's inevitable in every endeavor you go after. It's there. You'll never be too high for too long. You'll never be too low for too long if you so choose. So control this, adopt this, and I promise you, you will be light years ahead of where you would be otherwise, okay? That is the harsh truth. Now we can move past that, and I'm going to show you tangible principles that will apply to your life that you can actually use as tactics in your war chest, okay? So if you watch my last video, it was very heavy on nutrition, and I said in that video, I'm going to break down more of meal structure and what a day-to-day would look like for you as an athlete. And as I was making that video and I was doing like my version of pre-production and forming together a really good video, I realized that there was still a gap, I felt like, from that video to what I was writing down. I felt like there was something that you didn't understand because as I'm talking about results being the only thing that matters, what I realize as being in this industry for quite some time and working with countless amounts of athletes and countless amounts of clients, I understand the importance of nutrition, but I also understand the lack of adherence to nutrition and how everybody eventually enjoys working out, but they don't enjoy doing all the things that go around working out that actually make the difference. And nutrition being one of those, I want to make sure that you hear me and you hear me loud and clear, and that you take the nutrition advice that I'm just going to give you in the next video. I want you to make sure that you are mentally framed the correct way so that you can take that information and apply it and win. Because at the end of the day, everything I'm doing with this channel, everything that I do with the athletes that I work with, it's about maximizing whatever you're capable of. So I know what limiters are. Limiters are things that hold you back. So I know what those limiters are with athletes as pattern recognition. Now, one athlete might be different and does everything that I recommend and structure them to do. I've had some really amazing clients, and I use them as leaders to my other clients of this is how it's actually supposed to be done. Those are great, but understanding those are more of the anomaly, I want to make sure that you don't fall through the cracks, okay? So I'm going to give you some nutrition structure to will further set you up more for success in the next video. I'm going to keep this condensed and we're going to get right into it, but the first thing you had to know is that results are the only thing that matters in life, and that is the harsh truth. And the irony of that is nutrition is going to be one of those things where it will play a key role in the results of you, especially as an athlete, and what you physically look like and how you can physically perform. But it will be the thing that you have to do behind the scenes that nobody gets to see. So it's the irony of that nobody cares what you do or why you do or do not get there. They care about the result. Nutrition will be the thing you do behind the scenes in the dark that only you can be a true self accountability of. But the results of your nutrition will show. It will show on the court. It will show on the field, on the track. It will show when you walk into a room. It will show you in the weight room. It will show in every endeavor of life in the physical world. Okay? So that's the irony of that, and that's why I wanted to lead with that. So in a non-debatable way, results are the only thing that matters, and the sooner you make peace with that, the sooner everything else that I teach you, you can use at your disposal. Okay? So now let's get into the nutrition. Compounding off my previous video, I'm going to add into some more principles in which when I'm building out the nutrition side of things for my athletes, these are in any order, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to number them one at a time so I can keep things organized for me and you. I want you writing this down. Just like with training, everything must be custom. Okay? Everything must be custom if you want the best results. You can follow templated plans to some degree, but if you want to know what the best outcomes are going to be, it's where the athlete and the meal plan fits the athlete doesn't fit the meal plan. Okay? Meaning the meal plan molds to what you need. It molds to your goals. It molds to what your weaknesses are. It molds to your environment. It molds to the sports you play. It molds to what you need to overcome what you're currently lacking, and also what you need to continue to build on the things you're already good at. It molds to you. That is the best world of nutrition, okay? Having that said, number 2, and this is where it might get a little bit pushback from you, is number 2 is that your environment might be the most X factor to you sticking to the plan and doing what you're supposed to do with nutrition, okay? And when I say that, you probably think the reason why I think there'll be pushback is a lot of you think, well, no one in my family or no one in my household, if you don't, whoever is your household, whoever are your caretakers, no one around me eats the way that I'm told I need to eat. I get that, okay? That's, I would say, the case for the majority of athletes, because most parents do not eat like athletes. Most parents have not continued a life of being an athlete. They don't eat like an athlete. Even if they eat sensible, they probably don't eat like an athlete. Most families don't even eat sensible. So I understand that. I will say this. There's a couple bullet points from your environment that I would tell you. So draw these in. First is you get the opportunity, if your environment isn't what you want it to be or need it to be, you get the opportunity to be the leader, okay? You can create change and influence change by doing what you're supposed to do day in and day out, and then being able to showcase the results that people care about, because that's all people care about, the result of doing what you do equates to, okay? So as an athlete, if you want to change your environment, you don't change your environment by telling people they're doing the wrong thing and telling them what to do. You change your environment by doing what you're supposed to do, getting a result from that, and then letting everybody else follow suit. That will start with your household, and then it will drip down into your friends, your teammates, and everyone around you. And maybe it's in a different order. Maybe it's your friends and your teammates and then your family. Who cares? Your household. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you change, you lead, and everyone around you changes. That's how life works, not just in nutrition. So I can't tell you how long it's going to take. It might be immediate. It might be not very long, but a little bit of time. And it may take quite a while. It might take years. You're not in control of that part. You're in control of you. But you can change your environment by changing how you operate, you doing what you're supposed to do, and most importantly, getting results from doing what you're supposed to do. The other bullet point of your environment is, I've mentioned this in another video, I haven't overly plugged this yet, is within my athlete database of the clients that I work with, I have a community. It's on School, I have a community. And the value behind that is that you get to see athletes that play similar sports to you, same sports as you, like age of you, and also go through the same day-to-day life that you go to most degrees. Everybody's a little bit different, but to most degree. And what you could be as a part of that community is you get to see what everyone around you is also doing. So on those days when you're coming home from practice, you're tired, you may need to make your own dinner because your family's not eating what really makes sense for you. So you need to pull whatever's out of the kitchen and throw it in the skillet and whip it up like a beef and rice bowl, something very simple that I teach you how to make. Let's say you don't feel like eating that and you want to go eat a bunch of bagel bites and Hot Pockets, okay? If you were to flip into your app on your phone, you go to your iPad, your desktop, however you use the school community, wherever you view it from, if you were to just tap in that moment and see someone your age playing the same sports you play, they might be in another state and you're now friends with them. You see that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, A, and then B, you also see what they're eating. Now you know that even if you don't eat the same thing, just walking over to that fridge and doing what you're supposed to do because you saw someone else do what they're supposed to do, it works like a charm every time. If you don't believe me, then that just proves that you need this community more than anyone and how much you don't know about how communities work. Because community is where the power is. And I had to learn this the hard way being a coach, that I would train people and I would give them the absolute blueprint. I mean, step by step. Do this. I promise you, you will get this. With their weight room, weight training, their nutrition, their recovery protocols, everything. And after the honeymoon period, meaning the beginning, wears off and the newness wears off and they're no longer running off adrenaline, and now it comes time to dig in and do what you're supposed to do. You're tired, you're fatigued. I would constantly see the majority of people fall off. Not immediately, but over time they would fall off. Slowly creep back to their old ways, slowly fall off from their goals. And it's frustrating, but through trial and error, I'll give you the short story, is that by building a community, I was able to take, on the days when they're charged up and feeling good, they're able to promote what they're doing and bring others up around them. When the days when they're feeling bad, they're able to tap into that community and be brought up because they see other people that forces them to keep the pace and also inspires them to do what they're supposed to do. The impact of community, I honestly believe, is the number one thing that you can do to change the trajectory of your life. You will become your environment. You may or may not have the greatest environment in the real world. I wish that you did, and I pray that you do. And I do know that if you do what I said, that you can change your environment through time. But in the meantime, the next best thing that you can do, and the ultimate is to have both, the next best thing you can do is to be a part of a community of like-minded individuals where you challenge each other. Iron sharpens iron. That's a biblical proverb. And it works 100% of the time, okay? You just have to be in. There is a link in the description. It's my school community. It's called the Coach Up Team. Click that link and get into the group. Get into the community side of things, and let's get going. From there, you can actually communicate with not only the group and then everybody that's on the team. That's where you have direct access with me and all the coaching needs that you may need. If you have any questions about it, just leave me a comment in this video, and I'll communicate with you, and we'll go from there, okay? I don't plug that often yet. It is very powerful, and it's very fitting to this part of the video and in this part of the series of videos I've made. So I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't promote that option to you, because it absolutely will change your life, okay? So get a structured nutrition program, be a part of a community, understand the impact of your environment. The next part is, with your program, it needs to be structured overload, just like training is. You've heard me say structured overload with training, meaning we're getting progressively stronger. We're changing the weight, the reps, the sets, the volume of the workouts. Your nutrition plan needs to be the same way, okay? For within 60 days, you should not be eating the exact same meal with the exact same calories, okay? Everything should be changing there, because your performance should be changing, your performance demand should be changing, your physique should be changing, everything from your lean muscle mass, your body fat composition, everything should be changing and would be changing if you're doing what you're supposed to do. So that means that your nutrition needs to change. Now, you could eat a lot of the same foods, but you need to eat different portion sizes and amounts of food. And usually to change your calories, you'll have to change some degree of food, maybe 25% of the actual food selection. That is very, very important. Just like with weight training, basically you could copy and paste the same principles with weightlifting into nutrition, and it pretty much always works. Just like with weightlifting, I say progressive overload, and we're going to change the volume of your workouts as you get stronger. We're doing the same thing with your body as it makes changes along the way, and both of those work in unison, okay? And then in a different way, kind of a branch off from that, you could call this the fourth pillar, is seasonal demands, okay? Seasonal demands are just like positional demands. I've talked about positional demands, I think, in the last video too, where the position you play, even if you're on the same team, the position you play matters in terms of what you experience in a game and in a practice. Do you think a pitcher and a shortstop, and maybe a pitcher who is just a pitcher and a shortstop who also hits, do you think they expend the same amount of calories in a game, especially if the pitcher's not pitching that night? What about a lineman and a cornerback? I'm not saying both in all these cases don't expend a ton of calories. Of course they do. There's wear and tear on every position at all times, but it is different, okay? So positional demands are different. It's the same thing with an athlete from a nutrition standpoint, is that your seasonal demands are different. Your off-season nutrition is going to look different than your in-season nutrition. The amount of calories you expend are different, but also your recovery might be less or greater, okay? Everything about, if you're actually training in the off-season the way you should, your off-season should look significantly different than your in-season. Your in-season is more about maintaining. Your off-season is more about building, okay? You can build in season, but you really need to be working with a coach one-on-one if you're going to do that, because that is very meticulous, okay? But let's just say in a general world, you're building in the off-season and you're maintaining in season. Well, the only way we can guarantee that you build in off-season is doing things the way that I've discussed. But the only way we can guarantee that you're maintaining in the season, which might even be the most important, is you're also structuring things properly and custom to you and meeting your seasonal demands, your positional demands, and giving yourself structure overload, giving yourself adequate amounts of fatigue management. I talk about that a lot. All of this comes into play. So every principle from training is a copy and paste principle for nutrition, okay? I'm going to leave you with this because I hope at this point you understand at least the structure of nutrition and you have the mindset of results are the only thing that matters. I'm going to leave you with this. This is actually a quote from one of my favorite coaches that I've actually met with, and I've written this down and I look at it very often. So if you can look at this quote, think of it, do whatever you got to do if it's what required whenever you're needing to eat the meal that you're supposed to eat, whenever you're meal prepping, you're taking the time to do that, and you could be doing something more fun, whenever you're doing something that's giving yourself the extra edge in life, okay? Because what you do in the dark will be shown in the light at some point. Focus on building a set of standards so high for yourself that your absence will reveal more than your presence ever could. Write that one down. Focus on building a set of standards so high for yourself that your absence will reveal more than your presence ever could. If you can believe that, see that, and do that, I promise you that is a character trait that will put you above the rest. I hope this video serves you well. I hope you implement it. Please subscribe. A lot of great things to come. I'll see you in the next video. The next video, we're getting right into the meat and potatoes, pun intended, of nutrition. I'll see you there.